So is the new Fender ToneMaster Pro overpriced? And did they miss the mark by not making it able to do profiles? Does it not sound as good as people hoped it would? And could it possibly do profiling down the road? Also, are you worried that PRS might drop the ball on the MT100 and it might not be as good as we hoped it would be? Some people are. And is it okay to use two completely different amplifiers when you're multi-tracking in the studio? And would I ever consider doing some guitar lessons on my channel, or at least show you guys how I write my solos and give you a behind-the-scenes look on what goes into that? All that and more in today's Riffs and Responses video. Let's get started. Well, what's going on, guys? Thanks. Whoa. Lighting. What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining me for another episode of Riffs and Responses. And I know the lighting looks different now after I did that intro, but it's because I forgot to turn my top lights on, and I just realized that after I shot all that, and I'm like, I'm not redoing all that. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Anyways, this is a series where I basically just read and respond to questions and comments that are on my previous videos. And if need be, I'll actually do some demonstrations for you as well. I'll fire up an amp or a digital platform and maybe do some shootouts, dial-ins, you know, playthroughs, whatever on certain pieces of gear. So I don't just tell you what I think, I actually back it up with demonstrations as well. So if you have some questions and comments that you want me to address in the next episode, which comes out every Monday, go ahead and post your questions and comments in the comment section of this video, and I'll do my best to respond to as many as I can. Okay, so first segment of this video, I'm going to dedicate towards my, my demo of the Fender ToneMaster Pro video, and there are a lot of comments, and I'm so glad that people are enjoying the video. It's got over 6,000 views right now, and I'm grateful for that. I really am. That really helps me in the algorithm. So anyways, but I did get a lot of comments and questions on that, and I wish I could have answered all of them, but they were pretty numerous. Now, most of the comments were very positive on the unit, and I'm glad because I liked it. I actually thought it sounded really good, and the feel was very good on it as well. Felt like I was playing an amp most of the time, so I didn't have any issues with anything when I played through it. But there were some people that had some concerns, and I'll cover each one of those concerns in this video right now. So one of them was it's too expensive. Now, I kind of said that in the video as well. I was like, man, it's $16.99, which is priced the same as a lot of other units in the marketplace that potentially do more as far as like they do capturing and stuff like that, and they have a little more maturity associated with them as well, and probably with that maturity they have more features and stuff like that. So I totally understand that, but one thing to think about, and this is something I wasn't aware of until after I did the video, was it has 8 cores, which is twice as much as the Quad Cortex. So it has way more DSP, way more power than the Quad Cortex. So that's something to keep in mind. There's a lot more power in this unit. Now, I know that power is only as good as the way you use it and you route things and stuff, but still, it does have twice the power, so that is actually really cool, and that's part of what you're paying for when you get this unit. So I think that's something to keep in mind, and again, I didn't know that until after I did the video. That was a really rushed video. I literally just got the thing home, and I had to hurry up and get it done and get it back to the store, so I didn't have time to do a lot of research on the unit. Now, the other thing is like, well, yeah, it doesn't profile, so why is it costing as much as other units that do, you know, on the market? So I was like, you know what, I understand that concern very much, and some people like Rhett Shull has actually said that he doesn't think it'll ever be able to profile because he's like, it's not set up for that. But I respectfully beg to differ, because what you need to profile is basically a mic input. It has a microphone input, so there you go. And he was like, well, the routing isn't going to allow for that. I'm like, I respectfully disagree again, because however the unit is routed is based on software. I mean, we all know that, because Quad Cortex, when the unit first came out, you had to plug things in a certain way to do profiling, but then after they did an update, you plug things in differently to profile. So what that tells me is through software, you can change the I/O of the unit very easily, you know. So there's no reason why, you know, if and when Fender comes up with a profiling algorithm or software, they couldn't do that. So it basically profiling ability on the Fender unit is nothing more than a software download. So it's an update. You know, they can make an update with the algorithm and the software associated with it. You download it into the unit and you're done. Because again, it's got the microphone input, it's got the hardware, it just needs the software. And again, that's just a download. So I don't see why they couldn't do that in the future, and I kind of think they're gonna. I don't have an inside scoop, but I'm just saying, like, 8 cores, you know, I mean, that's a lot of power. So why not utilize that for some really awesome profiles and amp captures and stuff like that? I think it would behoove them to do it. And like I said in last night's live stream, I think it would be a great way to break the internet again with the unit. You know, they already pretty much kind of did that when they released it because no one was expecting it. At least most people weren't. And they're an amp company and a guitar company, and then they come out with a digital platform. It's like, wow, this is out of left field. But I think they did a really good job with it, and what a way to launch a product. I mean, they launched it already with an update that you just download immediately, and you also get the editing software for your desktop. I mean, that's how you do a launch. I mean, is it full blown and it has everything? Not yet. It's gonna, and that's just a typical thing with digital platforms now, but at least it has the things you need, and it's not full of bugs like some other units out there. You know, hang on a second, I'm getting a head rush. Woo, anyways, some of you guys get what that was. So anyways, yeah, they did a great job with the total launch of the unit, and I think it's going to do really well. I mean, like I said in last night's live stream, it's kind of like when a band releases an album. They come out with the album, and there's this big launch, and there's this big push for it with a big music video. And then what happens is they wait for the album to start trailing off in sales and the sales to start sinking. And the next thing you know, what do we have? Another music video. And then it just bumps it right back up again on the charts and people start buying it again. So I think it would be smart, and if I worked at Fender, this would be a great way to do it. Like, hey, let's release this. No one's expecting it anyways. Let's release it as it is. It's freaking awesome. Meanwhile, we can work on the software associated with profiling, because it definitely has the power for it and the hardware. So we can just release the software later. So as soon as, you know, the sales start dropping off a little bit and the hype about the unit starts dropping off, what happens? Software for profiling update comes out, and then everybody starts talking about it again. And now all these people that kind of forgot about it are like, wait a minute, was this again? Oh my God, I got to look into this unit. And it's like they just relaunched the unit all over again. So I think that would be genius marketing on their part. So let's keep our eyes on the product and see how it goes. I have high hopes for it because I really think it is a great product. I really do. Now, in one of the other comments that I saw in my video and some of the other videos I've seen about the unit was some people were like, it's got that digital high fizziness in it and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And there's some other videos that actually claim that as well. And I'm listening to them in my earbuds, you know, and on my studio monitors, and my car stereo, whatever. And I'm like, man, you guys are nuts. I honestly don't hear any of that in that unit. I don't. And I literally thought it was going to be one of those units that I would hear those things in. But I thought it was one of the best sounding modeling units that I've heard in a long time. I was very pleased with it. I didn't hear any digital fizz and harshness or anything like that at all. I thought it sounded really good. So I don't know, some of these channels, when they review stuff that is competing against stuff that they've endorsed for years, for some reason they have this thing against it, you know, and they always like, yeah, it's got this, but the unit that I always endorse doesn't. And I'm sitting here listening to this objectively going, actually, dude, you're wrong. The unit that you've been endorsing for years has had that problem for years, and this one doesn't, and you must be deaf. So, you know, I know it's all subjective, but in my you know, in my opinion, I just think some of these guys are just full of shit. I really do. And time will tell. We'll see. The best thing that I can tell you is get one for yourself and see if you like it. If you like it, keep it. If you don't, send it back. You know, you're not hurting anybody's feelings. But don't listen to me. Don't take my word verbatim. Don't listen to anybody else. Just listen to yourself. And like I said, if you like it, get it, keep it. And if you try it out and you don't like it, just send it back and life goes on. You know, no big deal. So let's move on to some of the other comments that I've gotten about other videos now. So this one is from Will Tomeo, and he says, this is the first demo that makes this pedal sound good. I've been checking the videos about this and none really impressed me, but your demo is great. Thank you. Now he's referring to the Friedman IRX pedal that I did several days ago, and I guess he really liked what I did and how I made it sound. So I appreciate that, Will. Thank you so much, and thanks for watching the video. That unit really impressed me. Like, it wasn't hard for me to dial it in, and that's what cracks me up about how I see some people dial this unit in demos. And it's like, dude, it takes extra work to make this thing sound bad. And it's simple to make it sound good. So I don't know how some of these channels are making it sound so bad, but it's really sad that they're doing that because, like I said, I would have to try really hard to make that thing sound like crap. And it was easy to make sound good. So I actually have to give a lot of credit to Dave Friedman for just making a great sounding unit. And I had little to do with that. You know, I just turned the knobs a little bit and slammed it with an overdrive, and I picked one of his IRs that were built in, and I thought it sounded amazing. In fact, it sounded so good to me that it inspired me to play a new song on the channel for the first time. And so it was a pretty difficult one, by the way, and I just wanted to do it so bad because the unit sounded great. And I think it's a great unit, and if you're a Friedman fan, which I know a lot of you guys are, and you want that Friedman tone, but you don't want to pay the Friedman price for his amps, this thing is incredible. Like, it really is. He's even got power amp simulation in it and everything. It just sounds amazing. So even if you run it through IRs, you're getting that simulated power amp mojo in there as well with the IRs, and I just think the unit sounds fantastic, especially, like I said, if you really like that Friedman tone. Now, does the Friedman tone always work for me? It honestly depends on the songs that I'm playing. I usually go for super aggressive, saturated sounds, but you know, his stuff's a little more in the rock area, but it could, you know, it could work for me like it did in that video as well. So I mean, I respect what he does. I think his amps are great. It just depends on the type of music and your taste, whether or not it's going to work for you. But again, if you do like the Friedman stuff, I think that's one of the best pieces of gear you can get, you know. So if you haven't watched that video, go ahead and watch it. It's just, you know, look on my videos there and you'll see it. And I hope you like it because that unit really is great. And I want to thank Motor City Guitar again for allowing me to take it home for the day and do the demo for you guys. All right, this next comment is from Ronnie Milanowitz, 52. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. He says, what Engel amps have you played? Is your Artist versus Savage part of a longer episode? Do you think, based on the clips that you've heard, will the Founders Edition beat your Savage? Thanks for commenting. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your question. So I love the Savage. I think it's an amazing amp, and to me, as of right now, it's a forever amp. You know, channel 4 is like ridiculous, and that's my main channel on that amplifier. The other channels are good too, but man, once you play channel 4, it's hard to go to anything else. That being said, I've seen a lot of good demos of the Artist Edition, and I want to get one in my studio so I can try it out. I've reached out to them, and hopefully they'll get back with me so I can check one out for you guys, because I really would like to do that. Now, some videos I've seen play it through impulse responses and stuff, and it just drives me nuts when people do that, because it's not a real demo. As soon as you're introducing impulse responses on an amplifier demo, it's not a demo anymore, because most impulse responses are so sculpted and nip-tucked and fake sounding. It's like, I don't even know what the amp really sounds like now, and it drives me nuts. But all that being said, I'd like to get my hands on one so I could check it out, and I will shoot it out with my Savage Mark II as well, because why not? I want to see how it compares, but we'll see. So stay tuned to the channel, and hopefully I'll be able to check that thing out. And you know I'm going to run it through its paces. So again, it's hard to tell how it would compare to my Savage because I haven't been really satisfied with the demos that I've seen so far of it. Sorry, not sorry. I know that makes me sound kind of arrogant. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm just sharing my honest opinion with you. The demos are good. They did a good job on the demos, but I just want to hear it in my room with my mics because I don't use IRs when I demo amps, and I don't just use an SM57 either. I always use a dual mic setup when I demo my amps, because with dual mics you get a bigger spectrum of sound on the cab. You're not just getting an SM57 sound, you know, I mean, because that mic is decent, but it's not going to give you everything that cab has to offer. But when you pair it with a Royer 121, then you get the full spectrum of sound on the cab. So that's what I'm talking about. So when I demo it, that's how I'm going to do it. I'll boost it, I'll not boost it, I'll dial it in every which way but Sunday. You know, I'll try to do everything I can to get as many great tones out of it as possible. I'll even play it in a mix, which some channels don't do. So I'll do that as well. So we'll see. You know, I got my fingers crossed, and my ringer's all the way up. So if somebody calls me with one, I will demo it for you. All right, this next question is from Deckard RJ. He says, hey man, I have a question. In a recording scenario, is it okay to make subtle changes in the tone of your guitar from one track or another? For example, can I blend different amp settings or different amps on different tracks and get a better sound, or should I just stick with the same amp on all of the tracks? Now, I paraphrased some of that question so that I could just keep it short for the video, but that's pretty much the gist of his question. Is he's wondering if it's better to blend two different amps, or at least the same amp with different settings on your multi-tracking project, or should you just stick with the same amp with the same settings on all the tracks? So I'll basically answer it like this. Not only is it okay to blend different amps or different amp settings on your multi-track project, but I actually encourage it. I literally think that you're always going to get better sounds when you're recording when you blend two different amplifiers. And I always suggest getting amplifiers that are completely different. Like the Diesel Herbert, it's just a big, fat, nasty amp. Just huge sound, little rounder on the top, but it's just got this huge sound. But if you want to blend it with something else, get something like the EVH Stealth, which still has a huge sound, but it's more edgier, it's more aggressive. There's that textured top end that it has, and it's got more bite to it, and it's grainier. So when you get the best of both worlds, which I call it, you know, you get this big, fat, round amplifier that's a little smoother, blended with something that's really nasty and beefy and aggressive, and you blend those two textures together. I mean, this is what you're getting when you have the same amps. Here's what your tracks look like. But when you have different amps, this is what your tracks look like. They get bigger, you know, because all of those different things blend together and make the sound bigger. So that's what I suggest that you do. If you ever record, you should always use different amp tones or amps altogether, sometimes different cabs, whatever, to get a bigger sound. Whitesnake did it with John Sykes' tone, and that's some of the best tone of the 80s still to this day. So I would do that. In fact, I'm doing that on my solo album. So every single song has at least two different amps on it, and I'm dual tracking. So I'm always going to have like one amp like on one side and a completely different amp on the other side, and sometimes I'll use a third amp for my solos, or sometimes I'll use a different channel of one of the amps that are, you know, doing the rhythms for my leads as well. So in fact, let me give you a quick example of you know, what that sounds like. So here's a little sneak peek into my solo album. I'm gonna play a couple little segments for you so that you can hear what the multi-tracking on my album sounds like with different amps. Now on this first track, it's called Night Terrors, and what I did is I blended the Mezzobarba with the EVH Stealth Red channel. So I have a really nice fat, beefy tone on the Mezzobarba that's a little rounder on the top end, mixed with a really edgy, aggressive tone, and I just got this really big sound out of it, and it sounded amazing. So here's what that sounds like really quick right now. Now on this next track, this is from a song called City Lights, and I actually blended the Victory Super Kraken with the Ingle Savage channel 4, and this was a really nasty tone that I got, and I just love how this came out. So I have a darker amp blended with a really edgy amp that has a lot of mids in it, and it just sounds incredible. So this is a quick example of how that sounds. So in summary, if you want the best guitar tone, get two amplifiers that complement each other really well and go for it. You'll always get a better tone when you go that way. It's more three-dimensional, it's bigger sounding, and it's very unique. Okay, so this next comment is from Alien Love Secrets 93. He says, "Your playing is stellar. I would love to see some short lesson or tips videos on, for example, tapping or other techniques. Maybe that's something you want to throw in from time to time. Your channel is just cool to watch. Quality is better than quantity. Anyways, thanks. Your videos are cool and very informative." Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words very much. Now, here's the thing. I did some lessons, if you want to call them, about a year and a half ago, maybe longer than that, and they just kind of went over like a lead balloon. They didn't get a lot of views, so I was like, well, lesson learned. No one wants to watch my channel for those reasons. So I was a couple years ago, and I was a lower subscriber count at the time, so maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe the lessons sucked. I don't know. I'll have to revisit those videos, and maybe I can cringe through them and maybe learn something and learn how to do them better. But they are out there, but I very much appreciate the kind words. And it's something that I can consider. So if you guys want me to do that, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see what I can do. Maybe I'll do one episode and just see how it goes, and then proceed accordingly from there, depending on the results. One thing to remember too is I'm not a guitar teacher, so man, doing lessons is going to be interesting. I'll have to really study up on that and see how I can do it right. I would like to show you guys what goes into writing my solos and why I choose to do things the way I do them. I think that would be kind of interesting, hopefully, for you guys, because I just got done writing what I think is a really good solo for one of my songs. I actually played that song at the beginning of the Friedman IRX video, and I was really proud of how that solo came out. I know, pat myself on the back, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just glad that I finally got it done, and I like what I did there, and and it was a lot of work, and I wouldn't mind showing you how I did that solo, or how I wrote it and why I wrote it the way I did, and my thought process behind it. So if you guys want to know, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to make that happen for you. All right, so before I end the video, I want to talk about the PRS MT100 release, and I posted a picture of it, I think, in my community section, and I got a lot of comments on that, and I want to just answer some general concerns that people had in that comment section. And I understand people's concerns. I mean, look, the MT15 is a great amplifier. It's not without its issues, though. It's noisy as hell. It's got that horrible hum to it, and it's a bit congested, if you ask me. Like, if I want to sit here and really point out all its flaws, I mean, it can sound a bit congested. It still sounds good, especially for the price and considering that it's a 15-watt amp, you know, and those are all good things, but there's no such thing as a perfect amp, right? So some people were concerned that, you know, when they released the 100, it's just going to be a louder MT15 with a Dumble-esque channel in it, and it's not going to be built well because they're worried about the pricing, and like, oh, for that price, it's probably not going to be built very well and stuff like that. So, but I understand your concerns. I really do. And it's funny, like, if you make an amplifier that's affordable, a lot of people are concerned with how it's built and thinking that it's probably not built very well. But if you make a very well built amplifier built in America and it's priced accordingly. Now everyone's like, oh, it's too expensive. I'm never going to spend that kind of money on an amplifier. So it's like you can't win, you know? So it's hard to have that really affordable amplifier that's built to the specs that everyone would be satisfied with, even the nitpickers, you know? So I totally understand people's concerns on both sides. I really do. And some people were like, yeah, that dumble channel, I mean, what am I going to do with that? And it's like, I get it, but it's a signature amplifier, and that's what Mark Tremonti wants. I don't really think I would use a dumble channel, but I don't know. I've never played one, so maybe I would like it and find uses for it for like some moody stuff and some low gain stuff. I have no idea. You know, I don't usually play like that, but I wouldn't mind checking it out just to see if there were things about it that I would absolutely love regarding that channel. Now, as far as the rest of the amplifier, like the high gain part and everything, I really hope that it sounds better than the MT15. And it's not because I don't like how the MT15 sounds, but I just think that the 100-watt version should sound better than the 15-watt version. Otherwise, why would you buy it? You know, if you're just buying volume, I mean, I don't know. It shouldn't just be louder. And I hope to God they get rid of that freaking hum. That hum is terrible. And honestly, there's no excuse for that in an amplifier at that price point. You know, if they're going to be up to around $2,000 on that amplifier, it should not have that kind of noise floor in it. That's just inexcusable. It's stupid. So I hope they don't screw it up regarding that. I just hope the gain structure on it is really good. It's just really aggressive and nasty, but clear. There's some good clarity in it, and it's voiced properly. It doesn't have that congestion that the MT15 has. And, you know, just stuff like that. I hope it's just got a really nice gain structure. I'm pretty sure it will. I mean, Mark Tremonti's no idiot. He knows what he wants, and he actually is a very, very good guitar player. One of the most underrated guitar players out there. Seems like a nice guy, too. So I would hope that after, what have they been working on? It's almost 5 years now. I would hope that after 5 years, this thing's going to sound amazing, and I kind of think it will. But we'll see. Now, obviously, the clean channel is going to sound great. I mean, the clean channel on the MT15 is awesome. So I don't see why the clean channel on the MT100 wouldn't also be awesome. It'll probably be even better. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the amplifier should be a very much improved version of the MT15 in every way. Every way possible. It should be voiced better, more modern. It's been a while since the MT15 was released, so why not give it a more modern voicing, you know, that meets today's standards. So I really think they should do that. And man, I can't wait to get my hands on one of those because I really want to try one out. And I hope it also has a really good effects loop on it. I can't stand amplifiers with shitty effects loops on them where all the effects are kind of dulled down and sound like crap. I hate that so much. So I really do have high hopes for a good effects loop on the unit as well. I mean, the MT15 effects loop is amazing, so I don't see why it wouldn't be on the MT100. So fingers crossed. I can't wait for it to come out. I know Motor City's going to get some, and I know I'll be able to demo one for you guys, and I just can't wait. We're all looking forward to it, and I think a lot of times the more hopeful you are for something, the more worried you get about it not meeting your standards as well. So let's all try to keep clear heads about it and just hope for the best. And you know me, I'll demo it, kick its tires, I'll put it through its paces, and I'll give you my honest opinion about it. So can't wait for that day to happen. And something I just realized, I didn't do any riffs in this video at all. I got too busy talking and answering questions. So I got the Ingle Savage Mark II fired up on channel 4 right now. Let's go ahead and do some riffs on it right now and have some fun for a minute before I end the video. Screw it, let's do a mix. Well, there you go. There's some riffs and a quick one-take mix for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. This is an amazing sounding amplifier. I really love this amp. And if I get my hands on the SE version, I will definitely shoot it out with it and do a full demo as well. Now, if you guys want to support my channel, there's a Patreon link below, and you can join my Patreon for any amount every month. I would really appreciate that. Every penny goes a long ways here, you know. And if you own Tonex, you own Quad Cortex or Kemper, there's also a link to my website, tonewars.com. Get some awesome presets and profiles for those units. I make a lot of great high gain tones for you guys and some really nice cleans as well. So get those, and I know you're going to like those. And to all my subscribers and Patreon supporters, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. And if you're new to the channel and you like what I do here, give you honest reviews on all kinds of different guitar gear with unprocessed audio and unbiased opinions. Feel free to subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I either go live or come out with another episode. Well, I got a lot more stuff coming up for you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.